Before I go into the next parts of my story, my testimony of what happened to me, one, I would like to say I'm looking for journalists that'd be willing to interview me. I think that would be very important. Instead of me trying to do this, they could ask me the questions and I'd be able to give my answers. It'd be way easier of getting through almost 2 years of horrific events. The next thing that I would like to say is, why isn't more being done about human trafficking through our federal government that has sworn to protect us from all enemies, foreign and domestic? As our trustees, our representatives, our everything that they're doing, that they have taken control. That's the reason why they own our birth certificate, which is bonded, secured paperwork. In our Social Security card, if you look at that little line and you magnify it by 20, you'll see what I mean. It says authorized representative. Now you'd have to go back to Black's Law Dictionary and find out what is authorized representative. What is a trustee? Well, that's a whole nother subject. I'll probably get in trouble for even mentioning what I just did. But all capital letter names on your driver's license, on your birth certificate, on your Social Security card. Yeah, well, it's a whole nother story. But since they have already slaved us with our chattel papers, you can look up Universal Commercial Code, which is a worldwide commerce code for every country for trading. Since they have taken over and are our representatives and our trustees, my question is why all the money that is coming out of our birth certificate bonds, our Social Security accounts, for these organizations that don't work. Blatantly, they don't work, because if they did work, we wouldn't have human trafficking of 840,000 missing children in state custody. Since, they have chattel papers, birth certificates, that's why they're able to come into your home, snatch out your child, and use the child's birth certificate bond, stamping it. That's what they do. They just keep stamping it. Same thing with hospitals, banks, all of it, when you see all your mail come through. My question is it's really a statement. I don't understand 840,000. Now you would think if I'm going high on this. I'm willing to even cut that number into half, which would be 420,000 children. If we took 420,000 children that perhaps were running away from these sick institutions of foster care where they're being raped, and it just gets worse and worse. I'm not saying all foster care. There are some really good foster care people that have big hearts and have done so much to help children out. But there are a lot of them that have not. I've ran across so many people that have horrific stories, horrific, of foster care, of the abuse that they suffered. And where are these children? Where are 420,000 children, at least? Because I cut that number in half just to go high. Where are these children? Where are their bodies? If it was an amateur person that was out there just randomly human trafficking kids, they would just dump a body out in the wilderness and somebody would find it hiking. Where is 420,000 children? A lot of this that is going on, it's just unbelievable. Of Homeland Security that's supposed to be in charge of human trafficking. I called them after I escaped out of my situation because I made a TikTok video, and I know some of you remember me. Now, if you remember me from 2021, around maybe July-ish, leave a comment, please. I went by Purple Levi 17. things started to get even worse, the aftermath. I was still being hunted down. They didn't stop. Surveillance, hidden cameras in my house. I'll keep going. The story is just god-awful. Where are these children at? Where's the bodies? That's my question. I mean, they're stealing people's children, snatching them up, either through state custody or just straight off the streets, snatching children. Where are all these children at? I mean, nobody sees them on the street. 420,000. I mean, at least even if you did half of 420,000, we'd be up to 210,000. Where are 210,000 people? Would at least have to see 210,000 of them somehow, some way, at a grocery store somewhere. Where are these children? Now, there was a story that came out through Russia that they got a report that Ukraine had a warehouse full of children that were being hung up in, I mean no bad way when I say this, but they were being butchered. And there were some children that were being sexually assaulted. They were all, they're naked. Russia came in and literally saved the rest of the remaining children. I'm telling you, we're going to war for Ukraine that's butchering children in warehouses. Here in America, our military strapping up their boots to go fight a war that we don't even belong in because we have a war right here. We have a Holocaust. If you take this numbers of 840,000 children missing, and you just did that by 10 years, you already got a Holocaust. Now, from what I know for a fact, is when I came out of that situation of that human trafficking, they were doing this for 35 years. It was the triangle. They ran it from Alaska to Missouri, down through Texas, Mexico. Mexico like the country. Yeah, this is what they did. I call it the triangle. Picking up people along the way. A lot of murders up in Missouri where they lived of young girls. Up in Alaska, the Armenian that passed away, the young kid that was in my kid's cabin. I was just a cleanup crew to fix up. Yeah, I didn't even know that. The Hispanic lady that they human trafficked back over from Mexico, she got murdered. That's why, I was one of the very few people to escape out of this situation, to tell the story of what's really going on. Cannibalism. They were cannibals. They jarred up the meat. They boiled it. They did a lot of black magic, which I was not even aware, at 3 o'clock in the morning, circling my kid's house over and over and over. A lot of the government is satanic too. Satanic occultism. High level. I'd want to say at least 70% of the government is satanic occultism. So where's these children? Where's the money that we're all spending out of our tax and our bonds and all of our Social Security trusts and everything else that's going to these organizations that aren't doing nothing to protect us? This is absolute fraud and treason at the highest levels. These public officials, as all they are is servants, swore an oath to protect us from foreign and domestic. Why is our military lacing up their boots to go start World War III with Russia when we have our own problems right here in our backyard? We all need to stand up. This is the time to stand up. If they did this to me, they can do it to you. I'm college educated. I lived a really good life. I mean, this is how deceptive and corrupt this is at the highest levels. We have to stand up. If you think about the leaders that we have here running USA, is not very many. Really, it's not very many. Why are there so many of us that won't stand up and go march in the streets and declare that this is absolute insanity? They're not serving us. They're not representing us. So that obviously means that they're probably doing it. They know about it, and that's why they're keeping it quiet.